Hello guys, welcome to our revision of biology paper 1. This is Maranda High School Pre-Mock 2025, and this is a great for revision to increase the confidence in answering the questions and gaining more content. Welcome. Question 1. Distinguish between excretion and digestion. And excretion involves removal of metabolic waste products from the body. Then digestion is a removal of undigested and indigestible food materials from the digestive system. Say the function of a bait trap, and the function is to attract and trap or capture animals. A trap must be present for you to score. Also trap must be there for you to score. Question 2a. What is an oxygen debt? An oxygen debt is the extra amount of oxygen required to break down lactic acid formed in the muscles. And the extra must be there, the term extra, because it's extra because you breathe in rapidly to get that extra amount of oxygen. Then part B, the diagram below shows a biological process in a cell, glucose. Then we have process R leading to product X, then leading to ethanol. And basically ethanol is about anaerobic respiration in plants, the product of anaerobic respiration in plants. Let's look at Roman 1, name product X and process R. Product X, that is a pyruvic acid or pyruvate. Then process R here to get pyruvic acid, that is a glycolysis. You break down glucose to pyruvic acid in a process called glycolysis or glycolysis, and it is independent of oxygen. Whether oxygen is present or not, it is independent. The name site of process R in a cell, and that is a cytoplasm. In a certain rabbit species, the gene for white fur is dominant over the gene for black fur. When a white male rabbit was mated with a black female rabbit, 8 kittens were produced, out of which 4 were black and remaining 4 were white. Using letter B to represent the gene for which is dominant, work out the genotype of the offspring. One thing you need to know, this type of dominance is a complete dominance. One gene is completely dominant over the other one, and the gene which is a dominant is denoted by a capital letter, for example in this case capital B, and the other gene, we call it a recessive gene, is denoted by a small letter, and in this case it will be small b. Let's cross or work out the genotype of the offspring, and that is you start with the genotypes, and basically this will be heterozygous and this one will be homozygous recessive, in order for you to get the offsprings which have white fur. These are the white fur and the black fur. The cross must be there for you to get a tick here. The gametes must be encircled and the circle should be complete. Label lines should touch the structure or the circle without piercing it. Then that is a mark. Also correct crossing, a mark. Then genotype offsprings are here. We have heterozygous, and phenotypically this is a white. Phenotypically this one is white. Then phenotypically these two are black. Then next question. A student set up an experiment as shown. We have boiling tube. We have mixture of olive oil and pancreatic juice. Then we have bromothiamol blue, indicator solution. Then whisking tubing. The experiment was then immersed into a water bath, maintained at 37.5 degrees Celsius, and left undisturbed for 30 minutes. Set the observation made after 30 minutes. The indicator turns yellow. Explain the observation in A above. Pancreatic lipase breaks down fats into fatty acids and glycerol, and because the temperature 37 is the optimum or correct for enzyme action. That is why it enabled lipase to break down fats into fatty acids and glycerol. And this lowers pH, causing the indicator to turn yellow. Question 5. One type of contraceptive pill contains estrogen and progesterone. Explain briefly how the pill prevents conception. And the pill contains estrogen and progesterone, which inhibit ovulation, and this thickens the cervical mucus to block sperms and make uterine wall thinner, thus preventing implantation. And therefore, the endometrium becomes thinner, reducing chances of implantation. Question 6a. State what happens when a human chick cell is placed in distilled water. And a human chick cell, basically it is an animal cell, and distilled water is a hypotonic. Therefore, when this cell is placed in water, it will gain or draw in water by osmosis and swells, and after swelling it bursts simply because it lacks the cell wall. Part B. Name any two organs in man where active transport occurs, and that is a kidney, specifically at the proximal convoluted tubule, where active reabsorption of useful materials or selective reabsorption of useful materials, for example glucose and some mineral ions, take place. Then small intestines, specifically at the ileum, where we have active absorption of digested food into the bloodstream. Question 7, diagram below shows appearance of a longitudinal section of a banana peel left in solution K for 30 minutes. We have the epicarp here. The epicarp is the outermost layer. Identify the nature of solution K. The nature is a hypertonic or concentrated. Account for the observation above. Solution K is hypertonic to the sap of the mesocarp cell. Therefore, water is lost from the mesocarp cell by osmosis. Hence, the mesocarp shrinks. The epicarp has waterproof cuticle, hence the curvature. Question 8a. Define evolution, and it is the gradual change in organism over a long period of time. And over a long period of time should be underlined or stated because evolution does not just takes place in a short period. It is over a long period of time. Part B. What name is given to the study of fossils? And that is paleontology. Name two features of Darwin's theory of evolution. We have natural selection and natural adaptation, that is basically about a struggle for existence and survival for the fittest. Question 9a. Explain why a camel has a small cortex, and this is to accommodate fewer glomeruli to minimize ultrafiltration, hence conserve water. And also another adaptation, it has a longer loop of Henle to increase surface area for reabsorption of water. And what you need to know, camels live in arid regions where we have very little amounts of water and they need to conserve, and basically those are adaptations are aimed at conserving water. Part B. Name condition where proteins are found in urine, and that is proteinuria. Describe how the condition named above is confirmed. And basically these are about testing for proteins, and testing for proteins you need a copper 2 sulfate and sodium hydroxide, and therefore you put 2 centimeter cubic of sample into a clean test tube, that is a sample of urine. Then you add equal amount of sodium hydroxide. There was an error here of sodium hydroxide, followed by copper 2 sulfate dropwise. When you get a violet color or a purple color, it means a protein is present, and that is how you test for it. And maybe another question can be, name condition where glucose is found in urine. And in this case, we say it is a diabetes mellitus. The disease is a diabetes mellitus, and it is caused by the failure of the pancreas to secrete sufficient amounts of insulin. Thus, less, or you can say the high sugar levels will not be reduced because insulin is in less amounts, and less sugar is converted for storage. Therefore, it means the system has a lot of sugar. It has a lot of sugar which cannot be reabsorbed back to the bloodstream. Therefore, some are found in urine. And how to test or to confirm that? You take a sample of urine, you add Benedict solution and heat to boil. When you get an orange color, it means glucose is present in urine. Question 10. Hydrogen carbonate is a laboratory indicator that turns to yellow in acidic conditions and to purple in alkaline conditions, while red in neutral media. The apparatus shown below was set and were left overnight, and the setup was left in dark, while B was kept near source of light, while C was a control experiment. Set observation made after 3 hours in test tube A and B. Test tube A turns yellow, test tube B turns purple. Give an explanation for your answer in A above. Test tube A, respiration produces carbon dioxide, hence lowering the pH. Then test tube B, photosynthesis uses up carbon dioxide, reducing acidity. The diagram below shows a cell undergoing cell division. Identify the stage of cell division shown, and that is anaphase 1. Basically, it is late anaphase 1. Reasons for your answer: spindle fiber contract, thus separating the homologous chromosomes, then chromosomes moving to the opposite poles. Rows of the following parts of mammalian heart cause of tendons, and they prevent valves from turning inside out, and basically that is the atrioventricular valves. Then coronary artery supplies oxygenated blood to the heart muscles. Septum prevents mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Question 13A. What is a seed dormancy? And it is a condition under which a seed performs its physiological process slowly and fails to germinate. Explain how scarification breaks down seed dormancy. And it damages the seed coat to allow water and gases to enter. And chemically breaking down inhibitors that prevent germination. Then set 3 distinguishing features of crustaceans. They have 2 pairs of antennae, and they have a carapace, which is enclosed or by exoskeleton that protects the inner tissues. And maybe another distinguishing feature, they have forked appendages, or the appendages are like fork, which help in maybe trapping food. They have forked appendages. Then a presence of a cephalothorax. Presence of a cephalothorax, and that is a head and thorax are fused to form a cephalothorax. DNA and RNA are both composed of nucleotide subunits. State the components of a nucleotide, and that is a phosphate group and a pentose sugar. Then we have nitrogenous bases, which can be adenine, thymine that is in DNA, and uracil is in RNA. Then let's look at question 16. Explain once why some desert animals usually urinate on their legs, and this is to minimize water loss by allowing urine to evaporate and provide cooling instead of excreting large amounts of water. Question 17. The diagram below shows disease-causing organism. Name the organism, and that is Vibrio cholerae. While writing, you must observe principles of binomial nomenclature. You underline separately the genus name, which is Vibrio, must start with a capital V. Then cholerae, small letters. Which disease does the organism cause? That is cholera. Because the Vibrio cholerae is this shape, as this spindle shape. Then name the enzyme secreted by organism named in A, Roman 1 above, that is a mucinase, and the role it digests the inner lining of the intestines. Question 18. The diagram below shows a section of a human ovary. Name the structure labeled A, and that is the ovum. You can see it is being released. Name the hormone which is responsible for the development of structure B. And structure B, those are the follicles, specifically Graafian follicles, and that is the follicle stimulating hormone, which is responsible for development of the Graafian follicles. Development of structure D, and structure D is a corpus luteum, and a luteinizing hormone, the one which stimulates a reorganization of remnants of bursted Graafian follicles to form corpus luteum. Question 19. Explain why digestion of ugali stops in the stomach. And ugali is a starch, and starch is digested by amylase. And this amylase works best in alkaline medium, and in the stomach we have acidic medium due to hydrochloric acid, and therefore amylase is denatured in the stomach, hence digestion of ugali stops. Make a simple diagrammatic equation to present emulsification. We have large fat droplets or molecules broken down to small fat droplets. Then we must have bile salts, which are responsible for that. Then what is the significance of emulsification? As you can see, the large fat droplets are broken to small fat droplets, and this increases surface area for action of enzymes, specifically lipase enzyme, to act on fat. Question 20. The diagram below shows a cross-section of a stem of a plant. State one feature of the cells found in region labeled E. First of all, the stem is a dicot stem. It is under class Dicotyledonei simply because of a presence of a cambium, and the vascular bundles arranged around the cambium. Then it has a pith here, and E is a cambium. Part E is the cambium. Then cambium, we have active division of cells, or rapid mitotic division. Cells are rapidly dividing. They're asking one feature of the cells. They have a dense cytoplasm. They lack a vacuole. They have a thick cell wall, and also they have numerous mitochondria to provide energy for the division of cells. Name one substance that will be found in solution contained in part labeled G. G is the phloem, and phloem enables translocation of manufactured food from leaves to other parts of the plant, or vice versa, and not really, but from leaves to other parts of the plant, and the phloem contains glucose. Explain one reason why water crosses the endodermis by active transport and not by osmosis. And the reason is that it contains Casparian strip, which forces selective uptake of minerals. Question 21. A cross between a black cat and a tan cat produces a tabby pattern, and that is a black and tan fur together. What pattern of inheritance that does this illustrate? That is codominance. That is codominance. It means the phenotypic feature or characteristics of the parents are expressed both in the offspring, unlike incomplete dominance, where the parental genes blend to form a different color. That is the difference between codominance and incomplete dominance. What percentage of kittens will have tan fur if a tabby cat is crossed with a black cat? And that is a 50%. You cross this black cat, homozygous B, then a tabby cat, it is a heterozygous capital B, small w, and you'll get 50% with the tan fur. The tan fur is BB. Then question 22, state one function of each of the following structures in a cell. Lysosome, they contain lytic enzymes that destroy worn out cells. The nuclear membrane has post to regulate movement of materials in and out of the cell. Question 23a, name the part of the male schistosoma mansoni where the female is carried, and that is a gynecophoric canal. Define biomass, and biomass is the total dry mass of living organisms. Question 24, the diagram below represents a maize spikelet. Examine it. Identify the type of unisexual flower represented by the above spikelet, and that is a staminate or the male flower. Name the part labeled K, and this one is a petals. Give functions of the following structure of the villus: lacteals, absorption of fatty acids and glycerol. Then crypt of Lieberhorn secretes digestive enzyme and mucus. Question 26. Name one vital body process maintained by basal metabolic rate, and that is a respiration. You can have circulation, you can have temperature regulation, and also nerve function. Question 27. Name the part of the retina that has densely packed cones, and that is fovea centralis, or the yellow spot, and that is where the image is formed, because the cones are photoreceptors. They are able to detect light and enable generation of an impulse. That's where the image is formed. Lacks rods and cones, that is blind spot, and the blind spot, that is where the optic nerves enters or leaves the eye. It has no cones and rods, and no image is formed on the blind spot. That is the end of our revision Maranda Paper 1 Pre-Mock. Thank you for listening, and subscribe and like more videos. Thank you.